In 1946, a small group of young pioneers walked into the Negev desert with nothing. No water, no fertile soil, just sand, rocks, and a belief that they could make something grow. 20 years later, they invented a technology that would feed 1 billion people. This is not a story about luck. This is a story about a country smaller than New Jersey, with no natural resources, surrounded by enemies, that became one of the most innovative nations on Earth. The story begins with an engineer named Simcha Blas. Born in Warsaw in 1927, trained in hydraulics, he emigrated to British Mandatory Palestine in the 1930s and became one of the founding engineers of Mega-Inventions, Israel's national water company. His job was simple: find ways to bring water to settlements in the Negev desert, where every drop mattered. One day in the early 1930s, a farmer showed Blas something strange: a giant tree thriving in his backyard, surrounded by dead soil. "It grows without water," the farmer said. Blas dug. Beneath the dry surface, he found moisture. A small coupling in an underground pipe was leaking, just droplets, but those droplets had created an expanding onion-shaped zone of underground water feeding the tree's roots. Traditional irrigation flooded fields. Water evaporated, ran off, wasted. But this tree was receiving precise, continuous microdoses directly to its roots, and it was thriving. Blas had a revelation. What if we could replicate this deliberately? Control the drip, make it systematic. For nearly 3 decades, Blas experimented. He tried narrow plastic tubes, drilled holes at intervals, used water pressure and friction to control the flow rate. By 1959, he and his son Yeshayahu had developed the first functional drip irrigation emitter. The design was elegant. Water entered the emitter at high pressure, then traveled through a long, twisting channel, a labyrinth path that slowed it down through friction. By the time water exited, it was a slow, steady drip, 2 liters per hour. Perfectly controlled. But Blas needed a partner to commercialize it. In 1965, he found kibbutz Hatzerim. Hatzerim had been founded in 1946, the same night 11 kibbutzim were established in the Negev desert as part of Israel's mission to settle the desert. For 20 years, they'd struggled. Poor soil, not enough water. They needed a solution, or they'd fail. On August 10, 1965, Simcha Blas, his son, and kibbutz Hatzerim signed a contract: 80% kibbutz, 20% Blas. They called the company Netafim, Hebrew for water droplets. Production began in January 1966. The first drip irrigation systems in history. Plastic tubing with inline emitters spaced every 30 to 50 centimeters. Revolutionary, and nobody believed it would work.
The first test plots were in Hatzerim's own fields. The results? Immediate. Crops grew faster. Yields increased 20 to 50%. Water use dropped 50 to 70%. Farmers could grow tomatoes, peppers, cotton, and dates in the desert using half the water with double the output. Word spread. Israeli farmers came, then international visitors. By 1967, Netafim's first export orders arrived. Within a decade, Netafim drip irrigation systems were operating in California, India, Australia, Spain, Peru, Brazil. By the 1980s, they were producing specialized systems for cotton, sugarcane, orchards. By the 2000s, Netafim was the global leader, 30% market share worldwide. Today, Netafim operates in 150 countries, has 13 manufacturing plants across 5 continents and employs over 3,000 people. Annual revenue? Over $1 billion. But the numbers don't tell the real story. The real story is in the fields. Before drip irrigation, I could grow rice once per year. Now I grow vegetables 3 times. My children go to school. We have enough to eat. Studies estimate drip irrigation has increased global food production by billions of tons. It's allowed agriculture in regions that were considered impossible. Deserts in Israel, India, Jordan, Morocco, now producing exportable crops. California grows 80% of the world's almonds, a $5 billion industry. Every single almond depends on drip irrigation. Without it, California's ag industry collapses. And as climate change intensifies droughts, drip irrigation isn't optional anymore. It's survival. But there's a cost. Drip irrigation is plastic. Billions of meters of polyethylene tubing, most of it single-use, ending up in landfills or oceans after 3 to 5 years. Netafim and competitors are now developing biodegradable tubing and recycling programs. But it's a race. The same technology that saved agriculture is now contributing to plastic pollution. Every solution creates new problems. That's innovation. In 1999, a computer science professor at Hebrew University named Amnon Shashua had a problem. He hated driving, not because of traffic, because of the inefficiency, the human error, the preventable accidents killing tens of thousands every year. Shashua specialized in computer vision and machine learning. He taught computers to see, to recognize objects and images, and he asked a radical question. What if a car could see the road like a human? What if it could detect vehicles, pedestrians, lane markings, and react faster than any driver?
In 1999, the automotive industry believed you needed expensive radar and stereo cameras to build driver assistance systems. 2 cameras mimicking human depth perception, or radar costing thousands of dollars per vehicle. Shashua proposed something heretical. 1 camera, 1 chip, software algorithms that could calculate distance, speed, and trajectory from monocular vision. The industry laughed. It's impossible, they said. You need stereo vision for depth perception. I proved them wrong mathematically. You don't need 2 cameras if your algorithms are smart enough. 1 camera, massive computation, and you can extract depth from motion, texture, and context. In 1999, Shashua co-founded Mobileye with Ziv Aviram and Norio Ichihashi. Shashua handled technology and R&D. Aviram managed operations and finance. Ichihashi focused on Asian markets. The first challenge: build a processor powerful enough to analyze video in real time, but efficient enough to run in a car without draining the battery or generating excessive heat. In 2004, they launched the EyeQ chip, a custom-designed system-on-chip optimized for computer vision. It could process 30 frames per second, detect vehicles, pedestrians, lane markings, and calculate collision risk. In 2008, BMW became the first automaker to adopt Mobileye technology in the 5th generation 7th series. The system it wasn't autonomous, it was assistance, alerting drivers to danger they might miss. And it worked. Insurance Institute for Highway Safety studies showed Mobileye-equipped vehicles had collision rates 50% lower than non-equipped models. Lives were being saved. In 2015, Tesla announced Autopilot, its semi-autonomous driving system, and at the heart, Mobileye's EyeQ chip. For a year, Mobileye powered Tesla's most famous feature, but the relationship was doomed. On May 7, 2016, Joshua Brown was driving his Tesla Model S on a Florida highway with autopilot engaged. A tractor-trailer turned left across the highway. The system didn't detect it. Brown didn't brake. He died on impact. The crash exposed a brutal truth. Autopilot was driver assistance, not full autonomy. But Tesla's marketing made it sound like self-driving. Tesla was pushing the envelope in terms of safety. Autopilot is not a driverless system. It requires constant driver supervision, but Tesla wasn't communicating that clearly enough.
In September 2016, Mobileye ended the partnership. Shashua said publicly, "We're not comfortable with how Tesla is deploying our technology." Tesla continued Autopilot with in-house systems. Mobileye focused on automakers who took safety seriously, and both companies thrived separately. In March 13, 2017, Intel announced it would acquire Mobileye for $15.3 billion, the largest acquisition of an Israeli tech company in history. Intel provides the computing muscle. Mobileye provides the eyes and brain. Together, we can dominate autonomous driving. For Israel, it was validation. A tiny country producing technology worth more than the GDP of small nations. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called Shashua personally. "This is a source of Israeli pride. You're proving we're a global tech center." Today, Mobileye systems are in over 200 million vehicles worldwide. That's 1 in every 5 cars on the road. Partnerships: BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, General Motors, Ford, Nissan, Honda, Toyota, Geely, NIO in China, Mahindra in India. Mobileye estimates its technology has prevented over 3.5 million accidents and saved tens of thousands of lives, not by replacing drivers, by assisting them. But Shashua's original vision, truly autonomous vehicles, is still being built. Mobileye is testing robo-taxis in Munich, Tel Aviv, Tokyo, and Detroit. Their latest system, Supervision, uses 11 cameras and Mobileye's 5th-generation EyeQ chip to offer hands-free driving on pre-mapped highways. Geely in China is the first automaker deploying it at scale, and others are following. 2 inventions, drip irrigation and automotive vision. They seem completely unrelated, but they share something profound. They both started with someone observing a problem everyone else ignored and asking, "What if we could do this differently?" Blast saw that a leaking pipe could feed a tree and thought, "What if we made irrigation intentional?" Shashua saw humans crashing and thought, "What if we gave cars vision?" This is the Israeli innovation model, not inventing for invention's sake, solving acute, immediate problems with no margin for error. In 1993, the internet was new, exciting, and completely unprotected. Companies were connecting to the global network with no understanding of the risks. Hackers could infiltrate networks easily, steal data, plant malware, and most companies didn't even know they'd been breached until it was too late. Israel had a unique advantage, Unit 8200, the IDF's signals intelligence and cyber warfare unit. For decades, 8200 trained young soldiers in cryptography, network security, and offensive hacking. These weren't academics. They were 18-year-olds defending a nation from real cyber attacks in real time. By the time they finished their service at age 21, they'd accumulated more hands-on cybersecurity experience than most professionals earn in a decade. In 1993, 3 Israeli ex-Unit 8200 alumni, Gil Shwed, Shlomo Kramer, and Marius Nacht, founded a company called Checkpoint Software. Their innovation? The corporate firewall, a software barrier that sat between a company's internal network and the internet, inspecting every packet of data trying to enter or leave. Previous firewalls simply blocked or allowed traffic based on basic rules, like a bouncer checking IDs at a door. Checkpoint's Firewall 1 introduced stateful inspection. It was like having a bouncer who remembers every guest, knows who they came with, and notices if someone's behavior changes mid-party. By 1996, Checkpoint went public on NASDAQ with a valuation of $450 million. By 2000, they were the dominant enterprise firewall,
used by 100 of the Fortune 100 companies. Check Point didn't just succeed, it created an ecosystem. Israeli cybersecurity companies spawned from Check Point alumni. Imperva, founded 2002. Palo Alto Networks, co-founded by Israeli Nir Zook, 2005. CyberArk, founded 1999. Dome9, acquired by Check Point, 2019. Wiz, founded 2020, valued at $12 billion. Israel now has more cybersecurity companies per capita than any nation on Earth, and it started with 3 ex-soldiers asking, "How do we keep networks safe?" In the late 1990s, Israeli soldiers had a frustrating problem. How do you carry classified data between computers that aren't connected to any network? Floppy disks held 1.44 megabytes, useless for large files. Portable hard drives were bulky, fragile, and required external power. The IDF needed something small, rugged, and high capacity. In 2000, an Israeli company called M Systems launched the Disk-On Key, the world's first commercial USB flash drive. 8 megabytes of storage in the device the size of your thumb. No batteries, no moving parts. Plug it in, transfer data, done. IBM licensed the technology and sold it commercially. Within 2 years, USB flash drives were everywhere. Capacity exploded. 16 MB, 128 MB, 1 gigabyte. By 2010, you could buy 256 gigabytes on a keychain for $50. M Systems' invention had become universal. In 2006, SanDisk acquired M Systems for $1.6 billion. The technology became the foundation for SanDisk's flash storage empire. Today, flash storage is in everything: USB drives, SD cards, solid-state drives, smartphones. The global flash memory market is worth $70 billion annually, and it started because Israeli soldiers needed a better way to carry data. 4 inventions: drip irrigation, automotive vision, corporate firewalls, USB flash drives. They seem unrelated, but look closer. Every single one started with an acute, local problem. Not enough water, drip irrigation. Too many car crashes, Mobileye. Unprotected networks, Check Point. No portable storage, Disk-On Key. Israel doesn't innovate because they're special. They innovate because they have no choice. Water scarcity, security threats, limited resources. Every problem is existential, so every solution has to work the first time or people die. There's a phrase in Hebrew, tikkun olam, repairing the world. It's a Jewish concept that you don't just survive, you improve things for everyone. These innovations didn't just solve Israeli problems, they solved human problems: hunger, death, insecurity, inefficiency. Global impact. Drip irrigation increases food security for billions. Mobileye, 3.5 million accidents prevented, tens of thousands of lives saved. Check Point protects 100% of Fortune 100 networks. USB flash drives, universal data portability for 8 billion people. From a desert kibbutz to the entire world, that's the power of solving problems when failure isn't an option. This is part 1, the foundations, physical innovations, water, transportation, security, storage, that became the infrastructure of modern life. In part 2, we explore the digital and medical revolutions, the pill that treats multiple sclerosis and saved 1 million lives, the instant messenger that invented online chat, and the camera so small you can swallow it. Because when necessity is the mother of invention, Israel had a lot of necessities.